Hi, everybody. Welcome to a very special edition of the Casino Business Podcast. Today, our guest is Tim Brooks, General Manager of Emerald Island and Rainbow Club Casinos. If you are a Vegas local, I'm sure you have heard of these properties and the amazing things that are going on there. But Tim, for those who may not be familiar with your properties, can you give us a quick overview of them and kind of tell us about who your core customer is?
Absolutely. It's good to be here, Craig. Thanks for having me. So just to let you know, the Emerald Island Casino and the Rainbow Club are located in downtown Henderson, which is a suburb of Las Vegas. Actually, Henderson is the second largest city in the state of Nevada, currently with approximately 250 to 260,000 residents. And right next to Las Vegas, second largest population. Next to Las Vegas, it's like you're in one city. So being in Las Vegas and Henderson, if you don't know where you're at, let's say, so to speak, driving down the road, you could be in Henderson and go to Las Vegas and not know it, and vice versa. So like two interconnected cities, although they're differently run from a government perspective. We think Henderson is more of a bedroom, well-run community, close-knit community. So that's why it's good to be in the locals casinos business here in Henderson. And we opened the Emerald Island Casino back in 2003. And purchased the Rainbow Club, which is directly across the street, which is owned and operated by Peppermill Corporation in Reno, Nevada, in 2019. And we reopened it after the pandemic in 2020, and been going well since then.
Wow. Well, thanks for that overview. And tell us a little bit about your background, if you don't mind. Like, before you purchased this property, what were you doing? Were you in the casino business? Were you in another space? And you can tell us that story.
Yes, I was. That's a good question. I was in the casino business in Reno, Nevada, Reno Sparks. I was the CEO of a small gaming corporation that had 4 non-restricted locations in the Reno Sparks metropolitan area. And we purchased a property in the late 90s, about 1996, 97 in Henderson, which would have been our 5th property. And I moved to Henderson to run that property in 1999. And fell in love with the community and really loved it, and just really thought this was a great place to live, especially to do business in the casino business as well, because there's more people here. Whenever there's more people, there's going to be more money to be made, and more people to please. So we opened that casino in 1999, and I worked for that company until 2003 when my twin brother and I partnered to open up the Emerald Island Casino. The Emerald Island Casino was a closed property that had been closed since 2000. We purchased the building in 2001 and went through the gaming license process and opened our doors on May 20th of 2020. So we're coming up on our 23rd anniversary. And one thing led to another, and we just blossomed. And took some time to get things cranking, but we did well during the bad pandemic, or the bad recession years of 2008, 9, 10. Our business actually grew because we felt we were able to give value to people, and people were always looking for value, especially when the economy's bad. And just by grinding it out every day and being here and giving acceptable customer service, we were able to take a toehold in Henderson, and we were able to purchase the Rainbow across the street, and one thing led to another. And then in 2024, early 2024, we sold both casinos, my brother and I, to a company called Eclipse Gaming. And they're a national company, primarily here in Nevada, but they also have properties in Kentucky, New Hampshire, and now Wyoming. And they've been great to work with. So I stayed on as the general manager to help them run these properties, and it's been a great experience. I've learned a lot from them. There's finding out there's more than one way to skin a cat, and so it's been a good relationship, and I plan on being here for a while longer.
Well, I imagine they've learned a lot from you as well. Is there anything that they took from what you were doing at your properties to their properties around the country?
I think so. I think that we both learned a lot from each other. Like, one thing that we always say is service never goes out of style. The better you service your customers, the more business you're going to get. And we give back to the community. We're very actively involved with many organizations here, from the Boys and Girls Club all the way up to, you name it, we do it. And so yeah, they've learned a lot from me, but I think I've learned a little bit more from them, because when you're a small family owned business, you tend to not look so far outside the box. So they've turned me on to some new ways of thinking and getting more creative, and find out there's more than one way to skin a cat.
So when you and your brother decided to purchase this property, did you know going in, and I think we're going to get into some of the things that really make you and your way of running business unique that stood out from the competition, allowed you to thrive, and even in these tough times, like the global financial crisis. But going in, did you know, like, okay, we're going to do this, it's going to stand out so much that we're definitely gonna make it work? Or like, did you just kind of buy it and you're like, we need to figure some stuff out? Like how much planning, I guess, and thought did you put into these different strategies before you purchased it?
Well, that's a great question, because whenever you take a leap of faith, which I did, I had a good job and I was happy and things were going well. But I was driven to want to try to do something, on my own. And so I teamed up with my twin brother, actually, Mike. And so we had a plan. And of course, when you're a small family-owned company, we don't have to run things up the corporate flagpole to get approval. So we use that to our advantage. So if things didn't work, we were able to move on a dime, change. We didn't have to wait. And one thing we learned, that not everything we tried worked. So we were able to shift gears pretty quickly and adjust our sales, for lack of a better term. So getting back to your question, we had an idea, but we always knew that we'd be navigating through some rough, choppy waters that we'd never encountered before. But we knew that if we stuck to our game plan and provided excellent customer service and gave customers what they wanted, we would be successful at one point. But to be honest with you, the first 2 years were tough. We have a lot of competition in this market of Henderson, the Boulder Strip, if you will, and so we just came to work every day and did what we had to do to make it work.
Now, when you were testing out these different ideas, and this is something I think that we get a lot of casino marketers that listen to this podcast. What I guess, how would you test the success or not success of these ideas you had? Were there certain like KPIs or metrics, or you just were on the floor and you could just tell what was resonating with customers or not?
More of the latter back in those days, because we didn't really have a lot of access to data back in those days, which is something that I've come to really appreciate the last few years with our new company. Data analysis and things of that nature. Although your gut very rarely lets you down, but in business, you just have to listen to what your customers are telling you. And so that's what we did. So I was here 7 days a week for many years, and I just got in front of them, asked them what they wanted, and tried to deliver on what they wanted to give them. And it evolved into a lot of good promotions and a good food product and a good slot mix, of course, because without that, nothing else works. But our main priority was to make it fun for our guests. So, you really don't want to go to a place where you're not going to have fun. So our main goal was to provide excellent, superior customer service and to make it fun for our guests, because not everybody that goes to the casino is going to have a winning experience on any particular day. But when people walk out the door, we want to make them want them to know or have in their mind that they had a good time and they got what they paid for.
Now, do you have any examples that you could share?
A great example would be our food products. So we have a small restaurant here. We had a 60-seat restaurant when we opened. Now it's doubled in size. But so we would get long waits for people that would want to eat dinner, and people would get they get angry or hangry, if you will, not mad, but when people are hungry, they want to eat. So if we had a 2 or 3 hour wait in the restaurant on a given night, we decided, we came to the idea one time as, well, let's just go around to the machines and give people something to snack on. So it started off with cookies and maybe an ice cream bar, and then it evolved into tacos and pizza and things of that nature. So they're called game side delights. So we do that every day now. At certain times of the day, while you're playing it in your machine, we'll bring you a treat to snack on. And if you don't want one, you don't have to take one. But people love that kind of stuff, personalized service. Another example would be, we have a lot of promotions that we do that are at the machine level. So we offer bonusing for certain triggers in a video reel slot machine where you can get some extra cash and things of that nature. So yeah, we just listened to what they wanted, but what they really wanted was to have a place where they could come and have fun and get to know everybody, because it's a very small, tight-knit community here. So what we're created here, and I hate to always use the analogy of the Cheers analogy, but it's kind of a lot like Cheers, and everybody's familiar with Cheers and they've heard that. So you kind of just carve out your own niche, and you treat people well, and sooner or later, people start to come, and word of mouth is your number one advertiser. I believe it, especially in a small locals market like this one here in Henderson.
Obviously, Cheers, they had the bartender that knew the people. And so I'd imagine with an operation like yours, employee retention is super important too, right? So how do you think about that, or how do you treat your employees special so they want to keep working for you instead of going down the strip or
yeah, exactly. That's another good question. Your employees are your number one asset. Without your employees, without your team, you don't have a business, plain and simple. And so what we've done is we've taken all of our employees and said, look, this is your business. The better you run the business, the better off you're going to do it, and the more business we're going to get. So we did that for years, and we still do that. We give them ownership, if you will, pride of being able to run your station the way. The better you run your business, the better that you're going to do personally, correct? So we also send our team through a really good team building exercises. Everybody that works here goes through, at some point, we'll go through what we call X's and O's of success. It's a program that we developed through a company here in town, and they come in and we do classes with our team on customer service and how to make a play for a teammate and things of that nature. And then a lot of our customers that come in here, they come, believe it or not, Craig, they'll come 30 days a month. Sometimes they'll come twice a day. It's a lot of close-knit families that come in, and some of our employees are closer to, so some of our customers are closer to our employees than they are to their own family members. That's how good it's gotten around here. So you build your business one step at a time, but like I said, getting back to what I said earlier, your team, your employees, they're obviously, without them, like I said, you don't have a business. Everything revolves around them and how they treat people, and they want to be here. So we've been able to retain a lot of our employees for 15, 20 years, and we're very proud of that fact.
How do you think about reinvestment percentage when you're dealing with a locals casino? I guess or maybe you can explain how you break it down, but just me talking off the top of my head, you've got obviously the free play and reinvestment that is just real quantifiable, but then you've got the snacks that are coming around and these promotions that just make it fun, that obviously have a cost, but maybe more difficult to measure the ROI from. So how do you think about those kinds of things?
Well, reinvestment is very important. If you don't keep your property, keep your property in good shape through reinvestment, making it nice for your customers, making sure the restrooms are nice, making sure that all the china or all the table, the flatware, the restaurant matches, making sure that your building looks good. We have a committee called the First Impressions Committee, where we police the outside of the perimeter of the property and the interior of the property. We have a team and we meet, and because the first thing that people notice is how clean your establishment is, how friendly you are when you're greeted at the door. So in terms of reinvestment, that's very important. We look at data, of course. We look at slot machine trends. We look at food trends. We look at liquor trends. We look at music trends, because sometimes the music may change on the casino floor depending on what your crowd's like that day. So there's a lot of little intrinsic things that you look at, and you're continually self-evaluating yourself. So to answer your question about reinvestment, we do reinvest, and we do it not only monetarily, but we always do it with the team.
So Tim, obviously, you're catering to a locals market, but just down the street, you've got the most competitive casino market in the world, in the Las Vegas Strip. How often do you go down there and try to get inspiration or ideas from what they're doing? And then conversely, is there anything that you're doing that you think would work down there, that any property that's listening that maybe is a much bigger box that they could take from how you treat your customers?
Well, there's no secret to our success. It's not a secret formula, but the better you treat your customers, whether it be from a service standpoint, your slot percentage hold, and it's easier to give, I think, superior guest service in the confines of a smaller casino floor like ours, because it's more up close and personal. I do go to the Strip, on a fairly regular basis. I haven't really taken any ideas. I do get ideas from them on how to set their floors up, how their signage looks, and things of that nature. They're all beautiful properties. I mean, they're multi-billion-dollar corporations. Many of those properties, and they do a great job. But locals market is a little bit different. A lot of our customers work on the strip, all of our players. So they come here and they tell us how much they like our service, and I wish that we could give service like that on the strip. So one thing that we found is that to give customer service in the customer service industry, because we're in a service industry, it's hard when you don't have enough people employees on the floor to service your guests. It's impossible, I feel, to grow your business in the service industry if you don't have enough employees to service your guests. I know, and I know that that's probably going to change a lot with AI and things of that nature, but there's one thing about the personal touch that never goes out of style. Customer service never goes out of style. So I hope that never changes. I mean, I think we're always going to need the human interaction in that from a standpoint of delivering good customer service. But the locals market is strong here in Las Vegas metropolitan area, in Henderson, because I think that a lot of the small casinos like us are able to give a really better quality guest service.
Now, there may be somebody listening right now that they're moving up in their career. They just took a job as VP of marketing at a property, and they are listening to you and they're like, yes, I want to implement great customer service. I want my employees to love on my customers and build value that way. But I'm inheriting just a toxic team. They don't seem to give a darn. And what would you instruct them on how they can go about transforming that culture to aspire to do what you've been able to do?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I would say get down in the trenches and work with your team, and let them show you exactly what they're going through. Let them explain to you how they feel. Let them open up without any repercussions, of course, and come up with a plan, formulate a plan together, so you can right the ship. It's not like I said, it shouldn't be that hard to do. But I think team members, employees just want to be heard, and they've got some great ideas. A lot of the ideas that we've come up from a marketing standpoint have not come from my brain, or they've come from my team's brain. They come from they listen to what customers want. They're in the trenches. They see it every day. So I would tell those marketing folks to get down, spend some time with your team, get up close and personal with them, pick their brain. You'll be surprised what you learn from them.
Or really throughout the conversation, that the core of your business is these locals that are coming frequently and just they love the experience when they walk in your doors. How do you, let's say somebody falls off, or do you have an active campaign for reactivation where you see there's some kind of triggers where, hey, somebody used to come every twice a week is falling off? And then I guess the follow-up would be, and also new player acquisition. Is it strictly a word of mouth? We got people that love us, they're just telling their friends, or do you have some active campaigns to acquire new customers? So yeah, one would be reactivation, and then two would be player acquisition.
We absolutely have both campaigns. So in the gaming business, people fizz out once in a while, right? You're not going to win every time you go to a casino, but you should never expect to win when you walk into a casino. But what you should expect to do is have a good time and have fun, and that's what we want to deliver here at both of our properties. As far as retaining guests, when people fall off, there's reasons why people move, people pass away, but we have a campaign where we reach out to the people. We send them an email, or we send them a postcard or a letter and say we'd like this, we miss you, we'd like to have you come back. And a lot of times that's good, but a lot of times people don't come back for whatever reason, which leads me to my next segue would be new guests. New guests are the lifeblood of any casino. Without new guests, you will not survive. So you have to go out there and aggressively try to promote new business. How do you do that? Well, word of mouth, like I said earlier, is your number one asset. You go out there, but you have to deliver on what you say you're going to do. So if you say, I'm going to have this promotion start at this time on this day, it better start at that time on that day. If you say you're going to have a pizza for our guests at 6 o'clock on a Friday night, it can't be 6:10, it can't be 6:20, it has to be 6 o'clock. You have to deliver on your word, and you deliver brand loyalty. And then another thing you do is that you treat the customers well. You get up, you talk to them. A lot of people just want to get to know people are very inquisitive. Our customers want to know not only about about me, or they want to know about our employees that are servicing them, so they get to know each other. So those up close and personal relationships are very important in the service industry. And the better you service your guests, the more you talk to them, the more you learn from them, and especially the more that you'll learn from your employees.
Well, you touched on one buzzword a little bit earlier, AI, and obviously that's having a big impact on every industry. How do you think about the next 3 to 5 years? Like, is there anything you're actively preparing for with new technology, or are you, obviously the core value of just delivering great service for customers, that's never going to go out of style. But yeah, I'd love to hear your perspective on the next few years.
Yeah, that's again, who knows what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years. Look what's happened in the last 18 months. It's crazy. All the stuff that you can do now. From our IT department can put up a special, menu specials on the board, can do it digitally from his office, and it's all AI generated, and some beautiful graphics and things of that nature. It's amazing what can be done. I mean, I was at a restaurant at a casino the other day, and up in Summerlin, and the food was delivered to the table by a robot. Brought it right to the table. So I don't know if we'll ever see that here at our properties. We may, but I mean, the world's our oyster. So all I know is that there's great things coming, and I don't know what it's going to do to the employment workforce. I hope it doesn't put a lot of people out of work. I think from an ownership standpoint, or a upper level corporate standpoint, it would probably make their numbers look better if they had less employees. But then again, how do you grow your business and provide a personal customer service without that face-to-face interaction? So again, getting back to your original question, next 3 to 5 years, I mean, it's a crapshoot. I think things are going to change, and they've already changed, and they're going to evolve even further. And the more that we get into the AI movement, the more we're going to see. But I really don't have a solid answer for you where I think it's going to go in terms of where it's going to land.
Well, I should say, one, yeah, I don't know where it's going to land, but I think investing in humans is a luxury item at this point, in a good way. Like, with our business, we've got a big team of hosts that are constantly booking people on mainly cruises, but also trips to various casinos. Yeah. And there's definitely a temptation to automate some of this, use AI, use voice AI. And we just found that, like, players are turned off by it. Even if the AI is really great and the service is comparable, they just want to know that there's a person on the other end that cares about them, that's waiting on them. And when I see casinos replacing front desk agents with kiosks, I think that just takes away some of the luxury. Because when you think about, a photo of a, Caesar, or like Egyptian pharaoh, it's always, they've got somebody fanning them, they got somebody feeding them grapes. It's like, it's having people waiting on them is the luxury part of it. And if it's just robots, I think people just discount that. And so anyway, we're definitely making the bet on, we're going to keep hiring people, because we think higher end players are going to gravitate to that and avoid where they feel like they're just being pawned off on AI.
Yeah, and I think the majority of our customers, our guests, want that. They want that personal interaction with our team. If they didn't, they would stay home and place their bets on the internet. But they need that social interaction. And like I said earlier, the confines of a smaller casino floor like we have 450 games at the Emerald Island and 350 at the Rainbow Club. And so they're not huge, 35,000 square foot, 100,000 square foot casino floors. So we're able to deliver that personal touch, but I think better than most places. But people wouldn't come here if they didn't want that. And so that face-to-face is very important. Now, is AI going to replace some of that and make it easier? Yeah, I think more so in the back of the house, in the back of the house where things are done from a technology standpoint or an accounting standpoint or things of that nature. But when it comes to personal service and face-to-face, I don't think right now that there's really anything that's going to replace it to a great extent. Now, I may be wrong. You maybe come back to me in 3 to 5 years and say, remember when we had that conversation back in 2026? Look what's changed. So I don't know, but I hope it doesn't. I really do.
I know I learned a ton. I'm sure everybody listening to this will have learned a bunch as well. Any topics we didn't touch on, or anything I didn't ask you that you want to cover before we wrap up?
I just want to say it's been a really pleasure talking to you, Craig, and I hope that everything goes well with you. And I know if you're ever in the Henderson area, come by and see us. And I would invite anybody that's listening to come by and take a look. And you'll see a lot of good things happening, not only in Henderson, but in Las Vegas in general. So all the bad things you hear about Las Vegas, it's a great place to live and work.
Tim Brooks, General Manager of Emerald Island Casino and Rainbow Club Casino. Definitely check it out if you guys are in Henderson. If you're staying on the Strip, drive out there. It's definitely worth a visit. Tim, thank you so much for spending time with us. This is awesome.
It's been a pleasure. You have a great day. Thanks again.